chosen.
A new Q post was just posted today. This appears to address a growing schism that we're seeing within the Q community. This schism developed after the introduction of Steinbart, aka Baby Q, aka Q. These series of Q posts appear to contextualize the schism as between the awakened people and the mainstream media, plus the unawakened masses. However, if you carefully read these posts, you can see it could be easily applied to the debate that's going on within the Q community itself. Let's read. A person's value. Number 1, vote. Number 2, monetary value, i.e. tax contribution. Number 3, why is free thought ridiculed, challenged, and threatened when a person is opposed to the mainstream narrative? So it looks like number 3 is actually omitted, probably purposefully. Kill box 2. Remains fixed, degree allowable by economic recession expansion. You have 1, remains a variable. 1, dependent on a controlled system of information dissemination. What happens when 90% of the media is controlled, owned by 6 corporations? What happens when those same corporations are operated and controlled by a political ideology? What happens when a news is no longer free from bias? What happens when news is no longer reliable and independent? What happens when the news is no longer trustworthy? What happens when the news simply becomes an extension arm of a political party? Fact become fiction? Fiction become fact? When does news become propaganda? Identity creation. How does the average person who is under constant financial stress by design find time to research and discern fact versus fiction? Majority of people more prone to believe someone in power sitting behind a big brand news name. Do people, human psyche, tend to follow the majority mainstream viewpoint in fear of being isolated and or shunned? Mainstream is used for a reason. Dominate trend in opinion. If majority of people believe X, then X must be valid, true. In commentary for these few lines regarding the human psyche and following the majority mainstream viewpoint, this is very valid. The MSM knows that people will feel isolated if they hold to unique viewpoints that aren't shared by very many people. And there's a strong urge to not feel separate or isolated from others. There's also a logical fallacy called bandwagon that makes the assumption that you are not cool or you do not have the attributes of the others in the bandwagon if you do not believe a certain thing. This thinking dovetails on the adage that the biggest lies, once accepted, become the biggest to overturn. Continuing on. Why do mainstream media heads within different orgs always use the same keywords and or catchphrases? Coordinated? By who? Outside entity providing instructions? Do they count on facts that people, human psyche, are more prone to believe something if heard over and over again by different trusted sources? Do echo chamber tactics provide validation, credibility to a topic point being discussed? Threat to intellectual freedom? Would control over of these institutions, organizations allow for the mass control of populations, viewpoint, re the desired topic? Read again, digest. So we're going to read again. Would control over of these institutions, organizations allow for the mass control of a population, viewpoints regarding a desired topic? Obviously the answer to this rhetorical question is yes. Logical thinking. Why, after the election of 2016, did D's, I would say that's probably Democrats, in MediaCorp's jumpstart a coordinated and planned divisive blitz intended to create falsehoods regarding illegitimacy of election, character of assassination of POTUS through the isms, pre-post 2016 election. Why were masked terror orgs such as Antifa immediately created, funded? Why were these orgs tasked with immediate intimidation, shutdown of any pro-POTUS rallies or events? Why were marches immediately organized to counter and silence pro-POTUS rally and events? Why were marches immediately organized which divided people based on the isms? When you control the levers of news dissemination, you control the narrative. Control of the narrative equals power. When you're blind, what do you see? They want you divided by religion, divided by sex, divided by political affiliation, divided by class. When you're divided and angry and controlled, you target those different from you, not those responsible. Divided, you are weak. Divided, you pose no threat to their control. When non-dogmatic information becomes free and transparent, it becomes a threat to those who attempt to control the narrative and or the stable. When you are awake, you stand on the outside of the stable, the groupthink collective, and have free thought. Free thought is a philosophical viewpoint which holds that positions regarding truth should be formed on a basis of logic, reason, empiricism, rather than authority, tradition, revelation, or dogma. In all caps. This represents a clear and present danger to the constitutional republic of the United States of America. Q. I'm going to go over to this post here, 3906. Decide for yourself. Be free from outside opinion. Decide for yourself. Be objective in your conclusions. Decide for yourself. Be true in your own beliefs. Decide for yourself. Be open to following the facts. Decide for yourself. Be strong in defending your beliefs. Decide for yourself. Be resistant to blindly accepting factless statements. So I find this particular portion of this Q drop to be in subtle reference to the ongoing controversy with Austin Steinbart. The major problem regarding Austin, which has been circulating through Twitter, is Austin's claim of Q affiliation, either being Q directly or at least a member of that team, with the known statement on this board of no outside comms. There are many, I'll call them Q believers, who follow, I'll call them Q authorities. The result of which is they watch the content produced by these authorities and pretty much believe everything the authorities say without any self-reflection or research on their own part. Continuing, those who attack you, those who mock you, those who coll you, those who control you, those who label you, do they represent you? Or do they represent themselves in some form? Mental enslavement, the Great Awakening, was designed and created not as a back channel to the public, away from the long-standing mind control of the corrupt and heavily biased media, to endure future events through transparency and regeneration of individual thought, breaking the chains of groupthink, but more importantly, aid in the construction of a vehicle, a ship that provides the scattered free thinkers with a starter new social networking platform which allows for freedom of thought, expression, and patriotism or national pride. The feeling of love, devotion, and sense of attachment to a homeland in alliance with other citizens who share the same sentiment. When non-dogmatic information becomes free and transparent, it becomes a threat to those who attempt to control the narrative or the stable. When you are awake, you stand on the outside of the stable, groupthink collective, and have free thought. Free thought is a philosophical viewpoint which holds that positions regarding truth should be formed on a basis of logic, reason, and empiricism rather than authority, tradition, revelation, or dogma. When you are awake, you're able to clearly see. The choice is yours and yours alone. Trust and put faith in yourself. You are not alone and you are not in the minority. Difficult truths will soon see the light of day. And that's the Where We Go One, We Go All abbreviation. Second last drop, 3907. The entire world is watching. Patriots from around the world are praying for America. We are all bound by a feeling deep inside, a feeling that cannot be publicly expressed for fear of ridicule, a feeling that challenges the mainstream narrative against that which we are told to accept and dare not question. Put simply, that people are being abused by those in power and time is running out. Remember the battles of Lexington and Concord. Give me liberty or give me death. For far too long, we have been silent and allowed our bands of strength that we once formed to defend freedom and liberty to deteriorate. We become divided. We become weak. We elected traitors to govern us. We allowed evil to prey on us. Those who claimed to represent us gave us false hope, made false promises. The evil and corruption only grew. This is more than party politics. This is about restoring old glory. This is about saving our land and our people from those who wish us harm. This is about preserving the Republic. This is about preserving our safety. This is about restoring our strength. This is about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This is about protecting our children. This is about saving America. We are all God's children. We are fathers. We are mothers. We are daughters. We are sons. We are brothers. We are sisters. We do not look at race. We do not look at skin color. We are united in these states of America. We are and always will be patriots. We must rise again. We must unite again. We must fight again. For God and country, God bless America. I'll add editorially. Make America great again. That should be there, but it's not. Where we go one, we go all. Q. And the last image is a very patriotic image of a United States flag. So overall, I would say the language for this particular drop is a little bit unique compared to older drops. It appears that Q is trying to rally his supporters in this case with the language that's used. It's very supportive type of communication. It's a very encouraging type of communication. Looking at the first of the four posts in the new drop, one thing that's of note is there are more bolds in the very first post, and there are also more brackets. So I'm to assume that these brackets are codes of some sort. So the very first communication is like that, and then these other two are more in narration format without apparent codes. And the last is a flag.